welcome to this new episode of Connecting. And today we are going to talk about Mars negative. So let's look at Mars. So Mars is in two parts. You have Mars negative and Mars positive. But today we are going to focus on Mars negative. So Mars is our energy, and it is totally related to our brain. So Mars negative is more like our reptilian brain, the one that reacts, without really thinking. So anger, fear, and all these strong emotion, or would be really, it's a little bit like the fight or flight syndrome. And then Mars positive is more like our brain, our thinking brain. But we're not going to talk about it. We're going to talk about really this reptilian brain and how we react. Most of the time, how do we react to negativity around us? And for this, you really need to take prints. You really need to see where the ink is going to stop in order to do a good analysis. So we're going to look at our first couple. And that's why I just showed the silhouette. And the first one is the woman, and the second one is the man. And as you can see, the woman has almost a perfect Mars. It's very, very difficult to have to find a complete Mars where it will be completely smooth when you put the hand, and then it will be completely smooth on the print. So as you can see, it has just little bumps, but it's relatively good. But if you look at his Mars negative, you're going to see first there are two dents, like two inside dents, and then there is a bump coming out. So the dent is more like the flight. I don't want to deal with the situation. And the bump is more the fight. So this is where we keep all our negative emotions. The ones where we just want to hide, and then the ones where we just want to fight. So this is where we keep a lot of our anger. So somebody who has a good Mars will be able not to get angry, and be able to accept things the way they are, as opposed to the other one that is going to just flare up and maybe shout, or maybe run away, or do something that is not as helpful for the rest of the body. Now, our second example, we see the first picture is a man, and the second one is the wife. And again, the first one, the man in this case, is a lot more balanced. So very, very good Mars, very steady, being able to take hardship without really blowing up. And in her case, you see it's all indented. So her Mars is very weak. So she would be the type of person, she's never going to be aggressive, but she could be maybe passive aggressive. Or she would be like the victim mood. Well, why does this happen to me? So he would be there to help her deal with the hard blows of life. Now the next one, and I'm going to show you 4 couples today. The next one, the first picture is a woman, and the second picture is the man. And again, we have a relatively balanced Mars. The woman has a very balanced Mars, and the man has he has a bump. The bump is not coming out completely, but it's still there, and he has a big dent. So this is definitely a poor me attitude. And the bump that we see, but it's sort of a bump that is not coming out. And this is more like resentment. This is something like he keeps the anger inside. He doesn't necessarily express it, or when he expresses it, he doesn't express it where he should. And this is one of the biggest problem of Mars. So a lot of the time we keep the anger inside and we don't really express it the way we should. Now the last example, the woman is first and the man is second. And again, the woman is relatively good. She has a few dents here, a little bit of resentment, but not much. But as you can see, the man has a bump, and the bump is really coming out of the hand. Like if you look at the normal space where Mars could be, like there is actually a bump that is coming out of it. And this makes the person a lot more aggressive. And as an example, this is someone who had a problem with the man, so he decided, well, if it's like that, I am going to take some karate classes and I am going to beat up this guy. And of course, by the time he had taken the classes, like 2 months later, he had forgotten, he stopped the classes. But this is what a big Mars, the one that is really coming out more aggressive, would be, as opposed to the smaller Mars or the one that is actually dented in. So as you can see, depending on all these people are lucky because at least one of them has a good Mars, and the other one, he can really learn from the good Mars, because it can be either too much in the poor me, like just like the flight, as opposed to the other one can be more in the fight. So this is what Mars negative is all about. And depending on your Mars, you are going to connect differently.